Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam 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 Ganapataye Namaha.
And just beginning by taking a nice tall seat, rocking a little bit side to side, front and back, just feeling into the sits bones. So you feel very solidly connected to the earth. Maybe sending some roots down into the earth from the sits bones and pelvic floor and the tip of the tailbone. Connecting with the natural rhythm and flow of the breath. And just gently deepening the breath. Feeling that sense of expansion as the breath flows in, and as the breath flows out, letting it flow down into the earth. Like it's taking weight off of your shoulders, and just bringing it down to the earth. Having a sense of the earth supporting your weight, the field of gravity completely. Feeling very solid from the navel point down. Gently pressing down through the sits bones, lengthening the spine. And taking the heart and the shoulders back a little bit over the hips. Lifting the heart center just slightly. Letting the chin come in a little bit to lengthen the back of the neck. Creating the maximum distance between the crown of the head and the pelvic floor. Taking some long, deep breaths. Letting the navel come forward on the inhale and back towards the spine on the exhale. Trying to make sure all of the big joints of the armpits, the hips are open. Sides of the ribs are open, the heart center is lifted. So you're kind of creating this maximum breathing space. Allowing the eyes to focus to the brow point, just between and slightly above the eyebrows, at the third eye. And it's just a light focus. The eyes aren't crossing, they're just kind of gently focused upward, putting a light tension on the optic nerve. Just tuning into this present moment. Bringing the hands together at the heart center and rubbing the palms together briskly, building up a little bit of heat and energy between the hands. Staying connected to the breath. And bringing the hands together in a prayer pose at the heart center. And we'll tune in with the Adi mantra, Om Namo Guru Dev Namo. Om is the infinite vibration underlying all matter and consciousness. Guru Dev is the wisdom within. So we're calling upon our connection to the infinite and also our own inner wisdom, inner healing capabilities. Inhale deeply. Exhale. And inhale to tune in. Om Namo Guru Dev Namo. Guru Deva Namo. Om Namo Guru Devi Namo. Inhale deeply, gently suspending the breath. Lightly lifting up on Mula Bandha or the root log. Sense pelvic floor, sex organ, rectum, navel point pulled in, lightly up. Exhale, releasing the lock, releasing the hands. Taking a couple of deep breaths. Just feeling the shift in energy. And taking the hands up and out to 60 degrees. Turning the palms forward. And putting the hands straight out to the side so the fingertips are pointed straight out. And bringing the fingertips into the pads, plugging the thumbs in and up. Inhale deeply. Begin a breath of fire, pumping the navel point. Ego eradicator. Soft, smiling face if possible. If you're on the first few days of a moon cycle, please feel free to switch to a long, deep breath, using your own intuition and guidance for that. You want to find a pace of breath of fire that you can maintain. It doesn't have to be fast, and it doesn't have to match mine or anybody else's pace. Just finding your own pace. If you become dizzy or too alarmed or something, then go ahead and switch back to a long, deep breath for a moment till you get sort of centered and then come back, join in again. If the mind starts running away, just noticing what the mind's saying, usually dire predictions about impending doom, arms falling off, death from asphyxiation. Haven't seen any of that happen yet, but just noticing what the mind is saying without getting too caught up in the drama, without getting hooked by it and getting drawn in, and just bringing your focus back to the breath. And last 20 seconds or so, you can power up the breath if you wish. Then inhale deeply, bringing the thumbs together above the crown. Hold the breath, stretch the fingers out like steel, pulling up on root lock, letting the energy rise along the spine, squeezing the muscles along the spine to bring it up, out through the crown, out through the fingers. And exhale, slowly sweeping out. You're clearing the whole auric field around the body, all the way down to the earth, fingertips to the earth. Heart center lifted, just taking a couple of deep breaths here. Noticing the shift in energy. Just assessing the physical sensations of the body, noticing the movements of the mind and the emotions. Experiencing the breath as the carrier of this life force energy, where the breath is only coming into the lungs. You can experience the breath, the life force in every part of the body. Bringing the hands to the thighs or the knees, just whatever is sort of comfortable. And just taking the navel point around the pelvic bowl for some Sufi grinds. Kind of keeping the spine long and tall. Shoulders are staying more or less in the same place. It's really the navel point and the pelvis that are moving. Like you're grinding down on those sits bones gently. Using that downward pressure to fuel this upward lift of the spine and the heart. Keeping the chin slightly in, Jalandhara Bandha. Inhaling, mentally vibrating Sat. Exhaling, mentally vibrating Nam. If you wish, if you feel like you need a mental vibration, Sat is truth. Nam is name or identity. So vibrating Sat Nam is vibrating this highest version of yourself. And beyond even just the mental vibration, you could also visualize yourself as the best version of you, this beautiful person and a perfect yogi, doing everything exactly perfect. And if you need to come out of any of the exercises throughout the class, just go ahead and do it. No big deal. Just don't waste any time beating yourself up for having done it. Just go ahead and visualize yourself as that beautiful person, just continuing every exercise. And reverse the direction. going to do a meditation for mastery in the subtle body later on. And it's nice to get really good and grounded and be able to sit comfortably to do this. So we're going to do a Kriya now for the lower back and the hips. Which would be good for getting a nice comfortable seat later on. And inhale to the center. Gently suspending the breath, lightly lifting up and root lock, Mula Bandha. Just very lightly. You can imagine that four-petaled red chakra spinning faster and faster as you tighten, right at the base of the spine, the pelvic floor. Relax. You're going to stretch the left leg out in front. The right leg will just be here with the right foot alongside of the thigh. If it's more comfortable, you could put it on top of the thigh. It's up to you, whatever you choose. I'm going to press out through the heel, kind of bringing the toes back towards the knee. So you're kind of activating the thigh a little bit, lifting, feels like you're lifting up the kneecap. The heart center is lifted and you're turning towards the extended leg. You're just going to fold forward as far as you can comfortably to get a little bit of a stretch without collapsing down. You just want to keep the spine long. So focusing on keeping the spine long from the tip of the tailbone to the crown of the head, leading with the heart center. And if you can place the hands on the ground, or if you wish, you can grab a hold of the big toe, pressing into it for a little added pituitary gland activation. Just finding that nice, long, lengthened spine for a little bit of stretch without overstretching it. Just long, deep breathing and holding it here. Letting the breath become long, deep, and slow. The eyes are still focused to the brow point. And take a nice deep inhale. Hold the breath for a moment. Exhale, slowly rolling back up. Switch legs, switch sides. It's the same thing. Long spine from the tip of the tailbone all the way to the crown of the head. Folding forward, pressing out to the heel, bring the toes back towards the knee. If you're wanting to come down a little bit more, you can press down through your right knee or your left knee. So the leg that's folded, you press down through that knee, and then that will kind of open up the hip a little bit more. But don't try to force your way down. Long, deep breathing. If you wish, mentally vibrating Sat as you inhale, Nam as you exhale. Eyes are focused to the brow point still. Still meditating, still feeling the flow of the breath in every part of the body. Just experiencing what it is to be in this posture, in this moment, with this breath. Remembering to press down through that left knee and flex the upper part of the right thigh if you want to come down a little more. It's just you pressing, you don't have to pull against it. Just as soon as you kind of press those muscles rooting down through the left knee, you'll kind of feel it open and you'll almost just sink in a little more. And remember, you got to keep those muscles tight if you want to stay down there, otherwise back out as you release them. Just so you're not overstretching. Take a nice deep breath in. And a nice deep breath out. Slowly rolling up. Back to an easy pose. This could also be done in rock pose or siddhasana or most any pose where you're seated. Take a hold of the shins of the ankles. It's going to rock the pelvis forward and back. And as we're doing that, we're going to inhale the heart center forward, exhaling it back. Some camel ride or spinal flex. Just in a couple of points, noticing that the shoulders are staying roughly in the same place the whole time. Spine is long and tall, so it's not collapsing down and stretching forward like this. Just kind of twisting it like you would a hose that you had pulled tight between your hands. Inhaling the heart forward, exhaling back. Soft face, smiling if possible. Inhaling Sat, exhaling Nam. Inhale deeply to the center. Lightly lifting up on root log. Exhale, relaxing the breath. And just meditating for a moment. And then taking the legs out wide. It's comfortably wide for you. Making sure you're still up on the sits bones and you're not falling back onto the wallet. Some people might need to bend their knees a little bit to be comfortable in this posture. That's okay. If you bend them, you can keep them bent throughout. So to begin, we're just going to take a nice deep inhale in the center. And turning towards the left leg, we're just going to again keep the spine long, leading with the heart center, keeping that light Jalandhara or neck lock. Long spine, reaching all the way down from the tip of the tailbone to the crown of the head. You take both hands and you can take hold of the thigh or the ankle or the foot, whatever is comfortable and available. Again, pressing down through the opposite leg to get a little bit deeper in. Bringing the toes back towards the knee and just sinking in long, deep breathing. Even in this posture, we're not really worrying about how far down we're coming. We're focusing more on how far out can you take the crown of your head from the tip of the tailbone. And gently rolling up, going to the center, and then switching sides. Same thing, other side. Long, deep breathing. Long, deep breathing. Still letting the navel come forward. Breathing against the kind of resistance of the fold. And gently coming back up to the center. Just kind of rocking the pelvis, so the top of the pelvis is a little bit forward. Folding forward, just kind of coming comfortably forward wherever it feels safe. And you can still maintain this long, stretched out spine, chin still in slightly. You could place the hands out in front, or you could place them, you could hold on to the toes, whatever feels comfortable or appropriate for your body in this moment. Again, long, deep breathing, no bouncing or moving, just holding still, focusing at the brow point. One breath at a time, inhaling Sat, exhaling Nam. You just want to be gently challenged. Again, you can press down through the thighs to kind of open it up. I'm still not collapsing down. No hunchback of Notre Dame. And then gently rolling up. And shaking the legs out in front a little bit if you need to. So this next exercise, you're going to have the feet probably about shoulder width apart. And some people can do this, other people can't. So don't worry if you're one of those that can't. Just do your best. You're just going to flop the feet. You flop them all the way into the middle and then all the way out to the sides. And it's just a normal breath. And it's just kind of relaxed. Just opening up the hips a little bit. Just a normal breath. You could still be mentally vibrating Sat on the inhale and Nam on the exhale. Just flopping the feet. And then go ahead and come lying down on the back. You just step your feet up. So they're next to the buttocks, feet are flat on the floor. If you can reach them and grab a hold of your feet, you can feel free to do that at your ankles. Or you could just have the hands resting on the ground next to your hips. Just do some pelvic lifts. So you'll be inhaling, lifting up, exhaling, rolling back down one vertebrae at a time. Just nice and easy. You want to keep a slight inward pressure toward the knees, like you're trying to squeeze a block or something between the knees as you're coming up, just to protect the sciatic and the SI joint. Just developing your own pace, building a rhythm with the breath and the movement. And relax down. Okay, for the next exercise, you're going to stay on your back and you're just going to bring the soles of the feet together or fly up above. Then as you inhale, you're going to kick out the left foot and point the toe out to 60 degrees up and 60 degrees out. As you exhale, you'll bring it back. And then you'll inhale the right leg out and back. And just try to build a nice quick rhythm. Nice steady pace. And relax down. You're just going to take the left leg up to 90 degrees, pointing the toe. Long, deep breathing. You can support your hips if you need to with your hands to protect your low back. If this gets a little too hard, you could step up the right foot. as a modification. But if it's possible, you can just leave it up. And relax it down. And bringing up the right leg, same thing. Still smiling. Relax it down. Then bringing both legs up. And relaxing down. Then rolling onto your belly. And if you can, you're just going to reach back and grab a hold of both ankles and coming up into a bow pose with a long, deep breath. If that's too difficult, you can just bring up one leg at a time to a modified bow. Whichever one you're in, just long, deep breathing. Trying to flex into these parts of the spine that aren't the easiest places to bend. So it's already bending in all the places where it's easy to bend. Seeing if you can open up some areas where it's not so easy. And switching sides, if you're doing one side, if you're still doing both sides, just stay up for a little bit longer. And then relax down. And just gently making your way back up to an easy pose. And sitting nice and tall, spine stretched up. Just going to twist to the left, taking the right hand to the left knee. Stretching up tall. Just kind of gently looking towards or over the left shoulder. Nice spinal twist. Don't worry about trying to twist super far. Kind of keep trying to make the spine a little bit longer, a little bit taller with each breath. And gently switching sides, twisting over to the right. Gently releasing back to the center. Be rolling the shoulders a little bit, gently shrugging them, twisting the head a little bit, releasing any tension at the base of the neck. We're just going to come up and sort of step out with the right foot, with the left knee down. You want to get as far onto the front of the knee as you can, the left knee, for a psoas stretch. Just kind of pushing the hips forward. So you're feeling that stretch up into the belly area. You can interlace the fingers into a Venus lock and just reaching up and arching back a little bit. Long, deep breathing. So as these really big diamond-shaped muscles that go from the inside of the top of the thigh bone all the way up through the pelvis and connecting at the base of the ribs on the vertebrae. And release down, switch sides. And relaxing down and coming all the way up to standing. And have the feet about hip width apart. I'm going to activate the thighs so that they're pulling the knees upward a little bit, You're twisting the thighs in slightly to protect the SI joint, which is the sacrum and pelvis. Have the ants up in a prayer pose, the thumbs are crossed. As you're reaching up and back, inhaling, and exhale, folding all the way forward. But again, just nice and slow, so you're not going to injure the back in any way. You want to keep that inward twist as you're folding down and as you're folding up. Really twisting in, almost like you're feeling the feet twisting into the ground, like tent stakes. This really helps to protect the SI joint. Keep you from getting low back injuries. Could also be lifting up on Mula Bandha. Has a similar effect of opening up the SI joint and protecting you as you're bending and folding. Nice, smooth, easy movements. And inhaling up. Exhaling, sweeping the arms out and down. So they're open at the sides. Taking a few long, deep breaths. Just feeling the pranic energy flowing inside and outside of the body. Coming all the way down to a rock pose, sitting on the heels. If this is uncomfortable, you can be sitting in easy pose or lotus pose or whatever pose works for you today. Just going to be sitting nice and tall. And eventually we'll sweep the arms up, interlacing the fingers in a Venus lock, with the index fingers pointing up. Heart center is lifted and the chin is in. We're doing a little bit of Sat Kriya. And Sat Kriya, we'll be chanting Sat Nam, same as we've been doing throughout the class. But as you're chanting Sat, you'll be pulling the navel point in deep towards the spine and lifting the diaphragm, so pushing the air out. So it sounds like Sat. And as you exhale, you'll be beaming out of the third eye, and you relax everything. Nam, Sat, Nam, Sat, Nam, just like that. The eyes are closed, and the breath is natural, so wherever you breathe in the cycle is okay. I'm just going to put up some music that has the rhythm so we can do it along with it. So it keeps you paced at the same pace, otherwise there's a tendency to speed up, which becomes the super breathless Kriya.
Sat, Nam 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 Sat,
And inhale deeply.
Sat,
Squeezing up on root lock, squeezing all the muscles along the spine, stretching up. Cannon breath out. One more time. Inhale deeply. Squeezing up, squeezing all the muscles along the spine. Exhale, release. Just come lying down, deeply relaxing. Covering up with a blanket, using some bolsters or whatever it takes to support yourself. Just trying to find a nice open posture. The palms maybe facing upward, all the joints open, so the breath is flowing evenly and smoothly through the body. And just surrendering the weight of the body to the earth. Completely relaxing and just letting go. Gently wiggling the fingers and toes, rotating the wrists and ankles. And reversing the direction. Drawing the knees to the chest, rocking a little bit side to side, massaging the low back, sacrum and tailbone. Letting the knees come over to the left side, keeping the shoulders flat. Just kind of opening up the low back a little bit. And bringing them back to the center and over to the right side. Taking a couple of deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Releasing anything that no longer serves you back to the earth. Coming back to the center, rubbing the soles of the feet and the palms of the hands together. Sealing in the energy of this practice. Grounding into the body. Wriggling the spine a little bit, shaking off any stagnant energy. Picking up any tight spots that are still there after that low back set. And then bringing the knees together and rocking top to tail, the whole length of the spine a few times. Just giving yourself a quick adjustment of the spine. So it's a couple of days before a full moon, but we're still sort of in this full moon energy. I thought it'd be fun to do a full moon meditation. This one's Antar Naad. And the meditation for this is just you're sitting and you listen for a minute to the mantra sa re sa sa, and then you start to chant along after a minute. But for the full moon, you do a slightly different version where you'll still be chanting along. And the words are sa re sa sa, sa re sa sa, sa re sa sa, sa rang. Hada day, hada 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 day, hada 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 day, hada 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 rang. And it's a mantra for the subtle body and for mastery. But really, if you just work with the vibration, it'll do the trick. And it's one of the most primary mantras. They say this is the first mantra that many of the Nada yogis would learn. So you start off with the hands in a prayer pose, but it's down at the navel center. And as the mantra is playing sa re sa sa, the hands are slowly coming up and opening out into this lotus. And when it gets all the way up here to sa rang, and it's all the way up in front of the eyes, and the mantra changes to hada day, the fingers come together and then you turn it around and it starts to come back down like this. The palms are together and you keep coming down. And when it gets to hada rang, you're at the navel point and you just turn the whole thing around and start over again. And so I'm going to do it with you so you can see what it looks like in time with the music. But that's basically it. And it's really nice you'll feel this kind of vortex opening as the hands get up, and then kind of like you're diving back into the top of the vortex. As you're coming back down, working with these words.
Sa re sa sa, sa re sa sa, sa re sa sa, sa ram. Hare re, hare hare, hare re, hare hare, hare re, hare hare, hare ram. Sa re sa sa, sa re sa sa, sa re sa sa, sa ram. Hare re, hare hare, hare re, hare hare, hare re, hare hare, hare ram. Sa re sa sa, sa re sa sa, sa re sa sa, sa ram. Hare re, hare hare, hare re, hare hare, hare re, hare hare, hare ram. sa re sa 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 re sa sa re sa sa ram. Hare re hare 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 re hare 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 re hare 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 ram. Sa re sa re sa re sa ram. Hare re hare 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 re hare 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 re hare 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 ram. Sa re sa re sa ram. Hare re hare 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 re hare 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 re hare hare ram. Sa re sa re sa ram. Hare re hare 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 re hare 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 ram. Sa re sa re sa ram. Hare re hare 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 re hare 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 ram. Sa re sa re sa ram. Hare re hare 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 re hare hare ram. Sa re sa ram. Hare re hare 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 re hare hare ram. Sa re sa ram. Hare re hare 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 re hare hare ram. Sa re sa ram. Hare re hare 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 re hare hare ram. Sa re sa ram. Hare re hare 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 re hare hare ram. Sa re sa ram. Hare re hare 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 re hare hare ram. Sa re sa ram. Hare re hare 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 re hare hare ram. Sa re sa ram. Hare re hare 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 re hare hare ram. Sa re sa ram. Hare re hare 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 re hare hare ram. Sa re sa ram. Hare re hare 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 re hare hare ram. Sa re sa ram. Hare re hare 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 re hare hare ram. Sa re sa ram. Hare re hare 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 re hare hare ram. Sa re sa ram. Hare re hare 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 re hare hare ram.
Nice deep breath in. Exhale. Bringing the hands together at the heart center. And if you wish, you can join me in dedicating the merit of this practice to the safety, happiness, and enlightenment of all beings, including yourself. By just mentally vibrating from the heart center and beaming it out to the universe. May the long-time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guides your way on, sending it out to all beings, also sending it to yourself as a blessing. May the long-time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guides your way on. And we'll close with a long Sat Nam. Inhale deeply. Exhale fully and completely. And inhale to vibrate. May this practice continue to be a blessing to ourselves and all those around us. Peace to all beings, light to all beings, and love to all. Sat Nam.
Sadam.
Thank you for coming this evening. Take your time getting grounded before you go operate any heavy machinery.